How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Talk. So, Inside Out 2 just did an absurdly good second weekend at the box office. And it really is just making me happy that, we're finally talking about how good the box office is instead of talking about all these bad weekends. It, it kind of feels like a nice refresher. So, Deadline is reporting that Inside Out 2 has a $100 million second weekend, which is only a 35% drop. That is wild to think about, that it had that good of a hold between week 1 and week 2. I remember when Bad Boys 2 had was a 45% drop, which is insane to think about that. But a 35% drop, I really don't hear a lot about that stuff, at least not nowadays. It's almost feeling like we're back in 2019 when the box office was as good as it is now. It feels surreal to think that we're finally getting back on track and there's going to finally be being some big movies coming out. I'm super excited about it. But honestly, I can't think of a better movie for this to be happening to. I really liked the second Inside Out. I didn't think it was as good as the first one, but the first one was one of the best Pixar movies ever made. But I'm really happy that it's getting these kind of box office results. And just seeing the numbers, it's going to fly past $1 billion. I don't know. I'll put the number up right here. I don't know how much money the first Inside Out made. It's probably like 800 million, like 800 million. It was a lot of money that it made. But this is going to be breaking all those records. Oh, and speaking of records, this is actually the best second weekend for any movie since Mario Brothers, which that made $93 million. So this is very much past that. And so this is just more proof of showing that people really love this movie, and I'm so happy they do because it's such a great movie. And if things keep on going the way they're going, it looks like the summer box office is going to be really good because there's some big movies coming out. I'm hoping that people start riding that wave. Granted, another thing, there is one thing that I should mention about why Inside Out 2 is doing so good. So, I don't know how many people are living in America who watch this video, but here in America, there is a massive heat wave that's hitting across everywhere. It is, especially here, it is hot. And everywhere in America is just really hot. And so that's a secret for why summer and winter box offices are so good. In the summertime, when it gets really hot, what do people want to do? They want to stay inside. What is the best thing to do inside with the whole family? Go watch Inside Out 2. I think that's a big reason why it's doing as good as it's doing, because the summer heat is just killing everyone. And I think this is a big boost to the box office. And I mean, same goes for the winter. I mean, it's super cold outside. You don't really want to do anything outside. So go with the family, watch a movie, and inside. It's all that's the big reasons why summer and winter box office is always so big, because it's people want to do stuff inside compared to outside. It's a big reason why Memorial Day, that's never really usually a big opening weekend. You don't really see movies opening on Memorial Day, and it's usually because people are wanting to go outside and do stuff. Granted, more recently, Memorial Day is slowly starting to become a bigger and bigger box office, but historically, Memorial Day is always the worst place you want to do it. That and Super Bowl. Because what are people going to be doing on Super Bowl weekend? Watching the Super Bowl. And so you miss out a whole day of box office that you could be making. That's why you never do anything on the Super Bowl. You always just let that be for the NFL and just let them do that. But in second place, we have Bad Boys Ride or Die, which actually had a really great second, it was a third weekend drop, which is another movie that, I'm really happy it's doing as good as it's doing. I really think it's worth it. I'm happy to see this is what's going on with Will Smith's career. It's a good movie that I feel like more people should be watching. Well, I mean, $18.7 million, that's a great third weekend, and it's close to $150 million domestic. It's very obvious there's going to be another Bad Boys movie, and I can't blame them. Big money maker. Will Smith is still very obviously a massive star. I think that this is a good sign to show for what's the future of this franchise. In third place came the Bikeriders, which it was just a $10 million opening weekend. And I was honestly surprised that they did a wide release, because for these art house movies, they don't really make a lot of money. Art house isn't really a big money making genre that general audiences usually like to go to. And I mean, granted, a lot of the older people, like above like 45, that demographic, they're actually showing up to this movie. I remember when I went to the movie theater, I actually had it was just me and a couple of old people that were watching the movie with me. It's like it kind of felt weird because like it was like these old people that were all watching it, and then some teenager is just sitting by himself watching it. And so, but outside of that, I mean, I wish it could have done more. I'm honestly seeing the box office now. I don't really blame Disney for selling off the rights to this movie, because I can see why they didn't think it was going to be making a whole lot of money. Because I mean, these art house movies, they never really do make a lot of money. It was a $40 million budget. Granted, it's not a massive budget movie. Like, it's a medium sized budget. But with this results, I'm worried if it's going to actually make any money. I mean, granted, it's art house. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't make those movies to make money. They make those movies just to be made. And I'm really happy that the movie ended up getting made, because Jeff Nichols, he's such a great director. Another thing to think about Jeff Nichols, this is his first movie since 2016. It was Loving, I believe. I believe that was his last movie. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But another wild thing to think about, 2016, that was 8 years ago, which isn't it's insane to think that 2016 was actually 8 years ago. It feels like it was just yesterday. And I'm not even that old, and I still like feel like this strange nostalgia for it. Like, it just seems like it was so long ago. I'm not gonna handle my 20s very well. But I mean, then we get to a lot of the usual suspects: Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Garfield, If. It's all of the same movies that we've seen already. There's nothing really interesting to talk about anymore. I've already talked about them enough. There's nothing really new to add about it. However, in number 7, we got The Exorcism, which I still remember seeing the trailer for that. I thought that was a sequel to The Pope's Exorcist, because, you know, Russell Crowe. I was so confused because like he's doing back-to-back exorcism movies, so it kind of threw me off. But like, from what I'm hearing, it's a bland horror movie. I mean, that's what you expect. 90% of all horror movies are going to be either bad or bland. It's only just the 10% that are really ever good. And so this is just another one of just kind of in rotation of the new bad horror movie of the week. And they didn't even make a whole lot of money too. Like, it's just kind of there. I have no plans. I mean, I might watch it if it shows up on a streaming service. I really have no interest in the movie. The trailers didn't look very good. I've not been hearing good things about it. It just kind of is a movie that just exists. He is going, Russell Crowe, he's going on a weird career path. Like, doing some really weird movies that, like, I guess, I don't know, like, if he really wants to do these movies, and let him do it, or if he's just, I don't know, doing it for the paycheck. I don't know. Either way, he has a weird career path going on right now. I don't really know why he's doing these movies, but I mean, he does what he wants. Now, an interesting movie that just came out is Ghost, Right Here, Right Now, which made like $2.3 million. And I'd never even heard about it. I saw that there was some showings at my local theater where I watched the Bikeriders. And so I'd never heard about the movie. Apparently it's this Swedish rock band, and they have like this concept film going out. And I mean, for a concept film, that's about what you expect. I mean, these movies, those concept films, unless it's like the Eras Tour, they're never really that big. But I mean, I'm happy for them. I mean, it's happy to see that they made it into the top 10. I mean, if you like that band, then go watch it, apparently, because I guess it's pretty good. Number 9, this movie Thelma was just released, and I've heard about it. I haven't really watched a whole lot of trailers into what it's about, but like I've been seeing ads for it online, and I mean I mean, from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's clearly like it had a weird release, so it opened to around 1,200 theaters. And it's really strange because like that's not really a limited release, because like I'll talk about the big limited release movie that I'm super pumped for whenever it finally gets around to me. And so it didn't really have a limited release, because I mean 1,200 isn't really what I'd consider limited, but also it's not really a wide release, so like it had a strange release strategy. I'm curious how well it's going to work out. But I mean, so far it opened number 9. I mean, I've heard a lot of people have liked it. I mean, if it shows up in a theater near me, I might end up watching it. But that's one movie to definitely pay attention to and see how that ends up doing. And then rounding out the box office, The Watchers. It honestly, it just feels like a participation trophy at this point to be in the top 10. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse with this anymore. I've already talked about how much I hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. I just dislike it. I heavily dislike it. And I mean, if you want to watch the review, I have it posted up on my channel. But like, I'm not going to beat a dead horse with it anymore. It's just a bland movie. I mean, it's nothing, but I mean, it ended up the top 10 mostly because there's not really any other movies to make it in the top 10. And so yeah, that's the overall box office. But there is one more movie that didn't make it in the top 10 that I want to talk about. So Kinds of Kindness released. It's pretty small. I mean, it released in 5 theaters for $350,000, which actually, if you look at it, that's $700,000 per theater, and that's actually really great because I think that's the highest of the year for a limited release like this. Because like whenever you look at these limited releases, you look at the per theater average. That's the main thing to look at. Because if it has a high theater per average, then word of mouth is going to spread. A lot of people are going to be telling others. Because that's how these kinds of movies work. It don't really focus on marketing or like paying for advertisements and stuff. What you do with these movies is word of mouth. I mean, look at Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was basically exclusively word of mouth marketing. And why it works so well is it's free. So you don't have to spend any money on marketing. Not a whole lot at least. And you have everyone else doing the marketing for you, telling everyone how great this movie is. And with a 700,000 limited release, I think that's a great number. It's actually a really great number. It's not even that I think it is. It's the highest per theater average of the year so far for a limited release like this. And so what that really tells you is that people are going to the theater, liking it, and telling other people. Because a lot of big things with this is, especially in big cities, a lot of the box office comes from people rewatching the movie. It's like a good point. Like the majority of the movie is from like first time viewers, of like people going and seeing. That's where a lot of the money comes from, of people watching it for the first time. But a big part of the box office is people rewatching the movie in theaters. And so what this number is telling us is that people are liking this movie, and the odds are they're going to come back and rewatch the movie, and then they're going to tell other people to watch it. Then those people might rewatch it again, and if they don't, then they'll tell other people about this movie, and it just slowly spreads and spreads over time. And so don't worry if you aren't playing it near you, the movie theaters near you aren't playing it. And next weekend it's going to open to 500 theaters, and then July 3rd it's going to be 1,000. So again, still pretty small releases, but I mean, with 1,000 theaters, I mean, there's like 4,000 theaters total in America. So that's 1 in 4 theaters total that you'll be seeing it. So like, maybe you might end up having to take a long drive to see it, but like, I'm telling you, it's really worth it. I've heard great things coming out of it. I've been so pumped to watch it. I was just praying so much that maybe there's a small chance they're going to do a bigger opening weekend and just have it playing in more theaters, but I'm honestly not surprised. It was kind of more of wishful thinking on my part, but I'm really happy to see how the box office is doing for this movie. Now that's this week in the box office. However, there's 2 big movies coming out: Quiet Place Day 1 and Horizon American Saga. And so, as for those box office numbers, let's take a look at them. So looking at Quiet Place Day 1 first, it's actually opening, the projections are about a $45 to $55 million opening weekend, which would actually be pretty on course with the other Quiet Place movies. The first one opened about a little over $50 million, and the second one was $48 million. One thing to point out about Quiet Place Part 2 with the $48 million opening weekend, that was May of 2021. So that was like, the $48 million weekend was actually smashing box office records with that time. Like, that was like an insanely good opening weekend. And so I have a feeling if it wasn't for the pandemic, that movie could have made probably about like 60, maybe $70 million opening weekend. So to see that, not even a main movie, it's a spin-off. It's not even has the main cast or anything. It's a spin-off of the franchise. And to see a $45 to $55 million opening weekend projection, that's actually really good, really promising for the franchise. Another franchise that really deserves these great box office numbers, because just what John Krasinski, the director, who, if you didn't know, he plays Jim Halpert in The Office, and the what he's been able to do with these movies is just absolutely insane. I love what he's doing with the franchise. It really makes me happy. It makes me happy seeing what he's done, and I'm happy that they're finding new ways to expand the franchise, because I mean, a lot of people have always said like a Quiet Place movie in the city would be awesome, because it's the loudest place one of the loudest places you can go on Earth. And seeing this kind of where this franchise is going with this, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see it when it eventually comes out next weekend, and I will be posting a review for it. The other movie opening next weekend, Horizon American Saga, that's looking at like a $15 to $25 million opening weekend, which is not promising if you're hoping that part 3 and part 4 are going to be made. So, in case you don't know the backstory about it, is that the part 1 and part 2 are filmed, edited, and basically done. And so they released that they're going to be releasing that this month, and this month and then August. And then Kevin Costner is hoping that he can get enough funding done to do part 3 and 4, because the whole movie, the Horizon, is a 4-movie saga basically. And so he's hoping that the box office numbers can be good enough for part 1 and 2 in order to make 3 and 4. However, with these projections, man, I really don't know, because I really want this movie to succeed. I've heard a lot of bad things about it, but I really love this idea of doing this 4-part epic across the American West, because there's really not a lot of like these big Western movies anymore. I mean, you really, like, when was the last time a big Western came out? Like, Magnificent Seven? There's not really anything that, like, any great Westerns that are out. I'm not even saying that Magnificent Seven was a great Western. I mean, it was alright, but the point is, there's just, like, not a lot of these types of movies anymore. And I mean, Costner basically self-funded the movie by himself. I mean, how much he funded it for, that remains to be seen. I mean, he's kind of all over the place with those numbers. But I don't know, I want this movie to succeed. However, I really have little doubts that it will. I mean, it just seems like it's gonna end with part 2. I really doubt they're ever gonna make the rest of the series. But yeah, that was the box office update of the weekend. I mean, what do you think of the numbers? Do you agree with me, disagree with me? I mean, comment down below what you think of the video. And if you want, like and subscribe. Share the video if you want, because it really helps me out a lot. But that's really all I have to say. So that's Movie Talk. See ya.